A few
On his show today, B.B. Newworth and Bob Costas. And also, we're going to have much more ahead in our next news update in just about 25 minutes. See you then. Now to Mitch Albom.
It's time for the Mitch Albom Show, featuring Mitch Albom, Ken Brown, and Rachel Nevada. Now, here's Mitch.
And we welcome you to the program. I am your host, Mitch Albom, on what we like to call America's Talk Show, since we've managed to merge radio and television, managed to merge MSNBC and ABC and all kinds of the rainbow coalition of forces.
All types of letters.
Ken Brown is to my right.
Hello.
Rachel Nevada is to my far left.
Hey.
Our musical act in the studio with us today is Super TC. Let's hear a little from them. We'll hear more from them as we continue here in the program. Joining us also a little later on today's show will be Bob Costas, the extremely talented NBC broadcaster who's got a new show on HBO. B.B. Newworth, the fine actress who you remember once upon a time from Frasier, now is a big Broadway star. But I want to begin today by talking about an addiction. America's addiction, apparently at least in the media's addiction, to Bill Clinton. When you go to Hollywood, and I've done this once or twice.
Gone to Hollywood?
And you sit in meetings with some of these Hollywood executives, what they say to you is, doesn't really matter what the movie is, doesn't really matter what the TV series is, character. It's got to be about the character. If the characters are interesting, you can put them on the moon. If the characters are interesting, they can be working in a garbage factory. It is the same philosophy that I believe is behind why we cannot let Bill Clinton go. While just moments ago, if you were watching on MSNBC, you saw an investigative story about Bill Clinton's storage space costing too much.
Yeah.
I'm leafing through stories pulled off the Clinton's New York office space cost too much. Hillary's bridal registry cost too much. The Mark Rich story, a guy nobody ever heard of, and in the end they're not going to be able to do anything about, has dominated television coverage and dominated the news as if this guy is now public enemy number one. It's not him. It's Clinton. We don't want to let this guy go. And I believe that the country has become a place that is so inured to television and Hollywood and its characters, as I just pointed out, that they look at him and they say, love him. He's got charisma. He's always in trouble. He's always doing. He gives us stuff. He's like Madonna. You know, a lot of time you don't like Madonna, but you keep hearing about Madonna. You want every little thing she does. You want to hear about. Or Marilyn Monroe has been dead for years. They keep bringing her back.
How long do you think this is going to last? Do you think it'll fade off? Or?
No, not for some time. You know why? Because the alternative is George W. Bush. And I think that I honestly think subconsciously, America says, and the media particularly says, if we let Clinton go, we got to deal with Bush.
We got nothing.
He's boring.
Very.
The most exciting thing he does is mess up sentences.
Right.
He's not going to get in any scandal trouble, at least not in the first couple of weeks of his administration.
Doesn't he go to bed at 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
No, we don't want that.
He works out while a guy's taking a shot outside the White House.
I know a lot of folks listen to you, Mitch.
Yeah, so I think that the media just said, we don't want to let him go. Now, to explore this theory with me a little further, Jonathan Alter, who is the senior editor at Newsweek magazine and a contributing correspondent to NBC News, joins us here on the program. Jonathan, thank you for coming on. Am I on base here as far as you're concerned? Do we have a national addiction to Bill Clinton?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a cover story on addiction in Newsweek this week, and we could have put the press corps there on the cover.
That wasn't what you had in mind, but yeah.
This is a crack addiction that all of us are trying to beat here, and it's hard. You've got a president who shows up everywhere on time, and he goes to bed at 9:30. And he drinks milk, and whereas Clinton is the best larger-than-life character we've had on the national stage in ages, and some of these stories about him are really legitimate stories, and I'm personally just appalled by the Mark Rich pardon. But whether they're legitimate like that or a little bit flimsy like the stuff about the aides trashing the White House, which turned out to be not true, whatever the story is, true or false, it's a hell of a lot more interesting than trying to figure out what the nuances of education policy are going to be.
Or what speed George W. Bush is going to put the treadmill on tomorrow and work out at. But I do think that there is a larger danger in it, in that it does start to skew media coverage, and particularly in outlets, and I hate to bite the hand that's feeding us here, but I'm not talking now about MSNBC, but all of I do that all the time. Anyhow, in fact, there's so many hands around, I'm going to end up biting something.
Just start chewing.
But newspapers too, television, radio, talk radio for sure, will take an issue like the Mark Rich thing, which is appalling, it's disgusting.
Right.
But in the end, it's not going to change a whole lot of Americans' lives one way or the other. But we enjoy it because it's this scandal, and we want to pull Clinton back. Like they said in The Godfather, they just want to pulling me back. They keep pulling me, and we want to pull him back and slap him on the wrist. We want to pull him back and run him through the ringer. We want to see what he has to say about it. When he goes and does a speech, his first speech, everybody's they protest in his speech, and they want to hear what he said and where he went, and his bridal registry. And now they're returning the gifts. George W. Bush is into his, 2-3 weeks into his administration. He is the second story.
Well, but Mitch, these are great stories. I mean, this bridal registry thing, it really is unbelievable. They shook down their friends for a bunch of gifts on the way out. Now, it's true that Ronald Reagan had his friends buy him a house when he left office, but that's a pretty damn good story. And the Mark Rich story is entirely worthy of a congressional investigation. I mean, I thought that Dan Burton was out of line in a lot of these earlier things he was chasing for the last 8 years, but he's like, a stopped clock. He's right twice a day, and in this case,
what's it going to take, though? And I like to open up the phone lines and kind of hear from the average Americans, not people who have the right to determine what gets on news stories or what runs on a radio program all day long. 877-44-MITCH is our phone number. If you're kind of sick of this, or you think let it go, or do you feel also that it's like I say, Madonna, Elvis, JFK, Cher, Elizabeth Taylor. These are people dead or alive. That it really doesn't matter what, as long as there's a kernel of some kind of news, OJ, which is going to be some news later on. It doesn't matter. As long as there's a kernel about them, it gets printed, and if they can turn it into something bigger, they will. What do you think, Jonathan, is going to take before we break what you're calling a crack addiction to Bill Clinton?
Well, I don't think we'll ever entirely break it as long as they keep giving us juicy stories like this. I mean, if they kind of go into the deep freeze, but the problem is Clinton is addicted to the limelight. A couple of days ago, I met with somebody from the nonprofit world who had, just before he met with me, had been with Bill Clinton, and Clinton had come in. There was a lot of snow in New York. He'd come into town to meet with this guy. I said, how did he travel? Well, he came in just a van with a couple of Secret Service agents, nobody else. And you had this notion of Clinton driving in from Chappaqua in a van, having been stripped of all of the traffic-stopping accoutrements of power. And I'm sure he's plenty thirsty to stay in the limelight. Does that mean he likes the press he's getting right now? No, but he has some sort of a need to stay on our radar scope.
And then again, if he goes Hollywood, as some have predicted, there is that expression in Hollywood, there's no such thing as bad publicity, just as long as you're in the limelight somewhere, and it seems to be the way we're headed. Jonathan,
he doesn't have to go Hollywood. He makes $150,000 a pop.
He is Hollywood.
Yeah.
He is Hollywood. He is Hollywood. If he goes to Hollywood, they line up to get his autograph, not the other way around. So he is Hollywood.
Star.
Jonathan, thanks for coming on with us and proving that I'm not crazy. That's Jonathan Alter from Newsweek. We'll take some phone calls on this and see how you feel about this.
He's a one-name guy now, Mitch.
Bill.
Like Clinton. I mean, just Clinton. They don't ask which Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton.
Yeah.
Cher. Madonna.
Clinton.
877-44-MITCH. How do you feel about this addiction? Are we going overboard in the media on it? We'll do that. Bob Costas coming up as well. BB Newirth, all that on the Mitch Albom Show. Stay with us. We'll go into gear number 2 right after this.
Album. The #1 national newscast in prime time. Don't miss the news with Brian Williams. Tonight at 9 on MSNBC. The whole picture.
We're gonna have a problem here.
Eminem invades your home. Don't miss Eminem in concert. Exclusively from in-demand pay-per-view.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
Eminem in concert. The biggest concerts are on In Demand. You roll.
Begin with a question.
What is Tai Chi?
Explore the possibilities. Create a sensation.
And there you are, and here I am.
Every day on Comcast, find the information and encouragement you need with someone who spent a lifetime asking all the right questions. Join us for a new season of Seeking Solutions with Suzanne.
Watch me and give me some tips.
There's a high that you get when you can predict industry events. They did almost 7% revenue growth. I specialize on the food industry, and I spent 20 years doing it. It's an inventory issue. I know the players. I know the questions to ask. It often leads me to the right conclusions. You've got a stock that is going to get hit. I write in a way that gets underneath the skin of the company that I report, but I don't write for them. I write for the investors.
Why are so many people switching to IDT long distance?
5 cents, actually. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for joining IDT. Enjoy the savings.
Because we offer the simplest low-cost long-distance plan available. Just 5 cents a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for every state-to-state long-distance call you make. We don't waste money on celebrities and gimmicks. We just offer the best long-distance available at the lowest possible price. Just 5 cents a minute, all day long, every single day of the week. And IDT has 6-second billing, so you never get charged for time you don't use. No complicated billing plans with rates that change depending on the time of day. No prepayments for time you may lose, and no annoying 1010 numbers to dial. Just the best long distance available at the lowest possible price. For real savings in the real world, call IDT right now. We're waiting for your call.
5 cents a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. IDT long distance. No one does it for less.
Your business started out with one location. You kept adding more sites to keep pace with growing demand. Now you're opening up a new kind of site, one that everyone can go to. Business is better than ever. Discover all that's possible on the internet. Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love
Millions have experienced the power.
I will celebrate, sing unto the Lord, sing to the Lord.
Millions have experienced the glory.
Celebrate, Jesus, celebrate.
Presenting Songs for Worship, the best praise and worship songs of all time.
Shout to the Lord on the earth, let us sing. Power and majesty.
You'll hear your favorite Christian artists and worship leaders.
God is an awesome God.
Rich Mullins, Twyla Paris, Don Moen, Delirious. Get Songs for Worship on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes for just $12.99. Bring the praise and worship experience into your home.
He has made me glad. Oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice for him.
These are songs that will last a lifetime.
Is it you, Lord, my strength? Is it
Then audition other praise and worship albums. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now for Songs for Worship.
To order Songs for Worship, use your credit card and call 1-800-847-8100. That's 1-800-847-8100. Or send $12.99 for 2 CDs or 2 cassettes, plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Songs for Worship, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
I'm going to go to Notre Dame.
You have a very talented son.
Cornell.
Northwestern.
10,000, 15,000.
Are you ready for this?
33,000.
Boston College. Florida.
The GE Financial Network at GEFN.com has mutual funds, annuities, and stocks that make it easy to save for college.
Arkansas. Go Razorbacks.
In fact, you can manage your financial life from investments to lending to insurance with a name you trust. So when they're ready, you'll be ready.
Is college expensive? Yeah, I think it's free.
Log on to GEFN.com.
Our thanks to Super TC as we welcome you back here on the Mitch Albom Show. And their latest release is called Super TC, a different musical act with us every day here on the program, trying to give some bands a chance to be discovered, make it big, and then ignore us when we ask them to come back on the program.
Finder's fee.
For booking information on this band, you can find out them on the web at www.supertc.com. You can always go to our website, mitchalbom.com. And not only will that have a lot of stuff about the show and things like that, and where you can vote in and find out more information, but you can also find out about the bands there, too, mitchalbom.com. Let's go to the phone lines here about Bill Clinton being an addiction as far as the media is concerned, and perhaps Americans, since, let's see, his office costs, his storage space costs, he and Hillary's bridal registry, his speech making, the Mark Rich pardon, and that's just the beginning of it. Those are all bigger stories in most people's minds than George W. Bush's education plan. James from Tennessee joins us on the Mitch Albom Show. Hi, James.
Mitch, it's time to let's keep it going. Let's just get on with get rid of Clinton here.
So you're sick of it?
Sick of it.
When you see 8 straight hours of coverage on a Mark Rich pardon or hours worth of debate on whether or not his office should cost that much, you turn it off or do you watch?
Well, I turn it off. I think we should just learn from his mistakes and let's just go on.
Yeah, but he keeps making mistakes. And the guy's not in office anymore and he keeps making mistakes. All right, thanks for your phone call. Let's go to Teg from Colorado here. How you doing?
Mitch.
Yeah.
We need to call Clinton like we see him. He needs a nickname to replace Slick Willie. More specifically, a fame name like a baseball player would have. He should be called the Rogue President, or more narrowly, just the Rogue.
The Rogue.
He's a great politician, but he's a rogue.
The Rogue. Well, you know, but America loves rogues. I mean, we're still talking about Billy the Kid, you know, and
he's the definition of the word rogue.
Yeah, I mean, they love him. They loved Elvis, you know, despite all the stories that came out about him. They loved Marilyn Monroe, JFK.
Give him the right name, Mitch.
The Rogue.
The Rogue.
I kind of like that.
Not for him.
I kind of like that. Here's Scott joining us from New York City on the Mitch Albom Show. 877-44-MITCH, our phone numbers. Hi, Scott. What do you think?
Mitch, if Bill Clinton is a drug and we're the addicts, and if O.J. Simpson was a drug and we're the addicts, then the next logical step is to say that the media, the print, news, radio, TV media are the pushers. So what do we do about the pushers?
Well, I can't disagree with you there. I can't disagree with you. I mean, you're not at home running old tapes of Clinton. You're at home watching hours worth of coverage on it, or you're at home with the radio on listening to people debate it like we're talking now.
You're invited to push into your house.
Yeah. On the other hand, right, if you didn't keep watching, they'd shut it off. If there wasn't evidence that whenever you talk about Clinton, everybody rushes to
Put up a neighborhood watch at your house, man.
Yeah.
Keep that push away from the door.
Yeah. This neighborhood is protected by, the Clinton watch.
The TV sign with the little red thing.
But you're definitely right. And I think it's tied into that bigger thing, which I mentioned before, which is this is a culture that is sort of inundated with Hollywood and Hollywood thinking, and we gravitate towards the characters. We do. We want to go to more interesting stuff, colorful stuff,
and
it even permeates our politics. And I think it's definitely happened with him. Well, we'll return to this topic. We'll talk about it a little bit more as we return on the program here on the Mitch Albom Show. Right now, if you're thinking about going to the cinema this weekend, we do a little thing on Fridays. You might want to think about this. That's right, from Hollywood. That music means it's time for our movie reviewer, the one and only Johnny Travolta.
All right, Mitch, man. Love your new TV edition.
Thank you.
Looks cool.
Thank you.
Only one thing missing.
What's that?
Only one thing missing.
What's that?
Only one thing missing.
You keep saying that.
I keep waiting for you to figure it out. What could be missing?
I give up.
Me!
No.
You have like B.B. Newth on the camera. You have like Ted Nugent and Jimmy Carter and Bob Dole and them guys on camera. And me, Johnny T, I'm on the phone like some guy ordering pizza.
Sorry.
Yeah, give me some extra cheese and anchovies.
Look, do you have the movie reviews for this weekend?
Yes. The biggest movie news is my new film, Swordfish, starring me, Johnny Travolta.
Wait a minute. That doesn't even open until summer.
That's right. It's just around the corner. So it's never too soon to start buying your tickets.
Sorry, but we're here to review this weekend's movies, okay?
Okay. Don't blow a gasket. The movie everybody is talking about this weekend is the sequel to Silence of the Lambs. It's called Hannibal. That's like so stupid. I mean, wasn't he the guy on the elephant?
I think they mean a different Hannibal. Hannibal Lecter, you know, the star of the story.
Oh.
Can you make it out?
I knew that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this follows the story of Anthony Hopkins, who likes to eat people and kill them. Not necessarily in that order. And it doesn't have Jodie Foster in it because she's out like having babies on her own or something. The end.
Is it good?
Is what good? Jodie Foster?
No, Hannibal.
Well, that depends, Clarice. Do you prefer your films with a side of kidneys or liver? I'll take mine with an order of ribs, extra rare, and a nice Chianti.
No, that's very good.
What?
The Hannibal Lecter impersonation. It's very good.
I didn't say nothing.
Wait a minute. I just heard...
Of course, he didn't say anything, my dear Clarice.
Oh, boy.
It would be quite difficult to speak when one has his tongue bitten off. Yummy.
All right. That's enough. That's enough.
What?
Are there any other movies besides Hannibal?
There are always other movies, Clarice. Just as there are always other FBI agents. I chose you. Is this how you repay me? To visit other cinemas? Clarice, not very sporting of you. I shall have to eat your pancreas.
Mr. Travolta, are there any other new movies?
The other new movie is called Saving Silverman. It's a teen comedy about a bunch of guys who think they're gonna lose their party buddy if he gets married. So they like try to test him and break them up. And there's a lot of stupid jokes and stuff. And hey, can't we talk about Swordfish starring me, Johnny T?
No. What happens in Saving Silverman?
Well, if I told you, then I'd ruin it.
Okay, give me a synopsis.
Okay. Huh?
A synopsis, a summary, the story in a nutshell.
Oh, in a nutshell. Well, why didn't you say so? In a nutshell, I didn't see it.
Goodbye, Mr. Travolta.
Go see Swordfish, starring me.
Yeah, this summer we will.
And remember, Mitch, man, like me and Hannibal always say...
What's that?
I'm back.
Tonight, this makes Survivor seem like a vacation. Stranded at the bottom of the world, ice and darkness. How many would survive? NBC 90 News tonight.
Hi, I'm Darrell Walter. You know, in my line of work, getting to the finish line first is my top goal. But when you're out on Michigan roads, safety should be your #1 priority. And sharing the road with large trucks is one way you can do your part.
Try to avoid a truck's blind spots. Remember, if you can't see the driver's face in his mirror, he can't see you.
Let's share the roads, Michigan, and we'll all be winners.
Keep our highways safe, Michigan. Let's share the road. Sponsored by the Michigan Center for Truck Safety.
I'm expecting a baby. Me too. It's important that I eat healthy foods and get exercise, vitamins, and proper prenatal care and doctor visits.
How can I pay for everything? Healthy Kids is a free health insurance program for pregnant women and kids up to 19. Call to find out more and get with the program. Because healthy moms make healthy kids. And that makes everybody happy.
You know how hard it is to quit smoking. You know how tough that first day without a cigarette can be. It's time to ask your doctor about Zyban. With Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. It's part of a comprehensive plan from your doctor to help you stop smoking. And it's the prescription smoking cessation aid most recommended by doctors. Zyban is different from nicotine replacements. It is nicotine-free, so you don't have to quit immediately. After Zyban reaches the right level in your system, it reduces your cravings. You feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely. You should know that there is a risk of seizure with Zyban. To reduce that risk, don't use if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder. Don't use if you take Wellbutrin or an MAOI. When used with a nicotine patch or alone, there is a risk of elevated blood pressure, in some cases severe. To reduce risk of serious side effects, tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Hello, I'm Mika Brzezinski. Mitch Albom will be right back after we catch up with the day's top stories. O.J. Simpson himself may be holding a news conference about a half an hour from now. We're expecting Simpson and his attorney, or both, to speak about Simpson's latest legal troubles. Earlier today, he surrendered to police in South Florida to face charges of burglary and assault. Simpson was involved in an altercation back in December with another driver in a suburb of Miami.
Mr. Simpson posted a bond about a half hour ago in the amount of $9,000. He was charged with burglary of an occupied conveyance and simple battery. As you are aware, this is as the result of a road rage misunderstanding that occurred on December the 4th, 2000. Mr. Simpson, as you are also aware, was not the aggressor in that incident.
Now, NBC's Kerry Sanders is covering the story in Miami, and he joins us on the phone right now. Kerry, what can you tell us?
Well, at this point, I think a lot of people were paying close attention to O.J.'s face during the news conference as he left the courthouse. As he left the jail, sort of mocking the whole aspect of this, but the police are taking it very seriously. As you stated, this goes back to December 4th, where there was a altercation between O.J. Simpson and another motorist. At one point, the other motorist said that O.J. sort of leaned into the window of his car after they had gotten into a road rage situation about somebody running a stop sign, and said, "I blew the stop sign, so what are you going to do, kill my kids?" And then the gentleman in the other vehicle said, "Well, what's the matter with you?" And then O.J. apparently, allegedly continued to scream and yell at the gentleman inside. And at one point, the victim says that he could hear coming from O.J.'s car somebody saying, "Daddy, no, Daddy, no." Well, O.J. turned himself in, and now he's made his way over here to his lawyer's office. And as you said, in about a half hour, he's going to give a news conference to talk a little bit about his side of the story here. Needless to say, outside of his office, it looks like every news organization in the country has shown up with some sort of camera, and just general gawkers showing up with their little snap cameras and people looking for autographs. It's really quite a crowded situation out here. But we'll hear from him in about a half hour. At least that's the plan.
All right, and we'll carry that live. NBC's Kerry Sanders, thanks very much. We're going to go back to Detroit now to the Mitch Albom syndicated radio show broadcasting live. B.B. Neuwirth is on tap as one of his guests, along with NBC's Bob Costas. I'm Mika Brzezinski. Enjoy your afternoon. Now here's Mitch.
Here on the Mitch Albom Show, we thank our band, Super TC. Their latest release called Super TC. You can find out more about them checking out our website at mitchalbom.com. I have information about them. In a couple of minutes, Bob Costas is going to join us here in the program. B.B. Neuwirth on the other side of this little sports check with our own Steve Courtney.
Hello, author.
With the sports headlines. Hello.
What's going on there, fella? This weekend, you've got All-Star Weekend NBA style missed in our nation's capital, also known as Washington, D.C. Tomorrow, you'll have the three-point competition, slam dunk competition, the rookie game.
Will Michael Jordan actually go to that game since he doesn't go to any of the other games in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, he'll be there. Also, very interesting throughout the weekend, they're going to have the Kobe Bryant sweepstakes. If you can guess how many times he says "I" throughout the weekend, you'll be a grand prize winner. Also, the XFL didn't take long for a franchise to get in trouble. The Memphis Maniacs in trouble from the mental health association in this great country of ours. The logo on the helmet is a guy with frizzled hair and spirals for eyes. And the Mental Health Association says this is demeaning to many Americans who have mental health problems. So there you go.
Okay, how about the guy who has "He Hate Me" on the back of his jersey?
He hate me.
We're going to have the Love Society of America complain about that, too.
All about love.
All right, more sports to come, and we'll talk about a lot of that stuff with Bob Costas when he joins us in the program. Right now, our next guest, Bebe Neuwirth, probably came to your attention in the TV show Cheers, but did you know that the same year that she started there on Cheers, she actually won a Tony Award for her role in Sweet Charity? So Broadway is in her blood. She's been a dancer since she was very young. She is now back for a 6-week stint, and she's in the middle of it, in her Tony Award-winning role in Chicago. Here's some footage, in case you're always thinking of Bebe Neuwirth as Lilith. Take a look at some of this footage from Chicago, song and dance style of Bebe Neuwirth.
Babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz, start the car, I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl. And all that jazz.
Yeah, Bebe Neuwirth joins us here on the Mitch Albom Show. Hi, Bebe. How you doing?
Hi. Okay.
There she is. Hi.
Hello.
I say we're playing. We just can't stop playing the music, can we? We're rolling on and on.
And I can't stop singing
there you go.
it.
All right, I can hear you now. Now we can stop the music.
All right.
Maybe you'll forgive us with some of this MSNBC technical stuff here, but I think they like your play so much they just can't stop running it. But whoever's on the other end there can turn it down. There you go.
One more time.
Did you really start? Let's hear it.
One more time.
Did you really start dancing when you were 5 years old? Did I read that?
Yes, I started taking ballet classes when I was 5, and I danced.
So it was this. Kind of that typical, you know, if I start tapping now, I'll be on Broadway by the time I'm 12.
No, I wanted to be a ballet dancer, so I started taking ballet class when I was 5 in Princeton, New Jersey, and I danced with a little regional non-professional company there all through high school, and then I moved to New York and went to the Juilliard School in the dance department just for 1 year, and about a year after that, I started working in a chorus line out on the road. Toured with that for 2 years, came into New York, and that was my first Broadway show.
Is the life of what you've just described there kind of sounds like a character in the play, a chorus line? No, I've heard more incredible than that. Are you kidding? On this program, yeah, you got to go way further to make up something. But it does sound a lot like the characters portrayed in the play, a chorus line, or even Fame. You know, the story about going to high schools for the performing arts and everything. Is there life kind of like that, where you're living from audition to audition when you're scrambling around, carrying your dance shoes in a little bag?
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, everybody's story is different, but I think the main thing that everyone has in common is that we can't imagine doing anything else. So no matter how difficult and discouraging it sometimes get, we keep going and keep going to the auditions and keep going to classes and work as much as we can.
Well, you actually had a different burden, imagining doing something else. You went to, as I said, you started doing Cheers, and your role as Lilith right about the same time, or just after you won your Tony Award in Sweet Charity, and then all of a sudden you couldn't do anything else. You were Lilith.
Well, it was very strange. It's ironic that the thing that I'm known most for, which is Lilith on Cheers, was really a very strange little tangent in what I really do, which is work on the stage and dance on the stage. So that's peculiar. In terms of being known for that and people thinking that, somebody said to me last night at the stage door, said, "I didn't know Lilith could dance like that." And I said, "I don't think she can."
Yeah, no, I don't think Lilith actually can, and maybe Bebe Neuwirth can, who's joining us here on the Mitch Albom Show. Do you get annoyed by that when you know, people years? I mean, you've been off Cheers now, what, since '92,
you know what's weird
right?
About
so it's
that,
almost 9 years.
What's strange is that to be known so much for something that's such a small part of my life, it's a little out of proportion, and it does feel a little strange. prefer to be known for the things that that I've set out to do, and you know, it's very nice when somebody says, "Oh, I saw you in this show or that show or something," and I, you know, I loved Lilith and I loved Cheers. I loved the show, but as I say, it was a very small tangent in terms of what I've always set out to do and what I've been doing. You know, I'd done 4 Broadway shows before I did that. I came right back to Broadway after I finished, so it's a little strange. And I also think, sorry.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you've been involved with Damn Yankees, A Chorus Line, Little Me, Dancing, and Chicago several times, and
right.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to leave one out, but you know, I went through the whole resume.
Well, and then, you know, I have to say, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that I've done that's not been on Broadway, but has been in the theater. So, you know, I spend most of my time doing that and a very small time doing the television, but, you know, the numbers.
Tell us why Chicago, like a lot of other shows, I mean, I go to New York on a regular basis, and I used to live in New York about 20 years ago, and I have to tell you, Bibi, there's sometimes I walk down Broadway and I go, am I here now or am I here then? Because the same shows are still playing on Broadway. You know, you'll look around, you'll see Grease. You'll look around, you'll see Chicago. You'll look around until for a while you saw Cats. They finally closed that one down. But oh, we get to hear this again.
One more time.
Why Chicago? Do you think it is so successful in its second time around as well?
Well, I think Bob Fosse was always ahead of his time, and he made Chicago in 1975. It was sort of an answer to the Watergate hearings and the media circus and frenzy, and so I think that people probably weren't quite ready for all the dark irony of the piece at the time. Now, after all we've seen and been through, people get it a lot more readily, a lot more handily. And the piece is just beautifully written. It's the music is fantastic. It's a perfectly structured piece. The concept is brilliant. You know, you have a press conference where the lawyer has the defendant, and he's a ventriloquist. The defendant is just moving the mouth, and the lawyer is singing for them. That's a very eloquent comment, and I think people get it now.
I kind of feel like that on this program sometimes, as a matter of fact. Well, congratulations on your return there. It's a limited role, and you're already halfway through it, so those people who want to see Bibi Neuwirth in Chicago, where she already won a Tony, will have to do it before March 1st there at the Schubert Theater on March 4th. You added a couple days? Okay. You have till March 4th. Bibi, thank you for coming on with us. Congratulations to you on returning there. Yeah, Bibi Neuwirth here on the Mitch Albom Show.
One more time, Chicago.
I don't know. We don't really need to hear that one again. But I don't know. It's interesting how many little technical things get thrown onto the program now that we've added the television part of it. You know, it's funny when you have a TV show and a radio show going at the same time. It's just human nature, though. When you hear something or you mess up, there's a mistake, the first reaction is not necessarily to fix the mistake. The first reaction is to say, "It's not us.
It's not me.
It's not us. It's them." So the radio people going, "It's the TV people," and the TV people going, "It's the radio people." You know, so. We don't blame anybody. We just sit here and say, well, where is that coming from? Exactly.
You know?
Don't forget to check.
One more time.
No, we don't really need to hear that again. Don't forget to check out the website there at mitchalbom.com, which will bring you up to date on everything that's going on in the program. It has actually sound bites, and it's finally working. As I say, they told us it was going to be ready in they told us we were going to be in 99. Yep. 1899.
That's right.
But it is ready now, and not only will bring you up to date on who's coming up in the program. Next week, Stephen King is going to be with us on the program. Ben Vereen is going to be with us. Scott Turow is going to be with us. A lot of people, and we're going to do a special Valentine's Day thing too on the state of romance in America.
Because it's all about love.
Next week, yeah. Bob Costas will be coming up here on the program in just a minute, and I'm wondering if there's some song that Bob will be doing a song and dance to that will be running when we talk to Bob. Yeah. Back with more.
Albom. Brought to you in part by Gateway. In Gateway country, people rule. I started my own business back in 1982. Sometimes the business of the practice of law can take over the profession of practicing law. What Gateway has done is they've given me the opportunity to be more of a lawyer and less of a business person. The Gateway Advisor brought in the computer workstations and the server. It just integrated seamlessly with my existing network. The personalized attention was remarkable. It's like a tailor-made suit. It fits my business because it was designed with me in mind.
Come on, come on, come on.
The Edge of the Sahara, August 15th. There are over 3,000 languages in the world. And I don't think any one of them has a word for this.
Hi, to the Meadowlands, please.
Look who it is. It's a Chris Berman. Chris Berman of the moon. Chris Berman! Overboard! No, that was not good. This next will be brilliant. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Want to get away? Now you can fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for just $99 when you purchase by February 22nd.
You are now free to move about the country.
You sit here. They sit there. Here and there. You and them. Morningstar sits over here, on your side of the table. Together, we are us, which is everything you need to invest smarter. Before you invest, investigate at Morningstar.com.
Cell phones. Everybody has one. And now you can turn yours into a hands-free speakerphone system like those expensive luxury cars. Introducing CellTech. That's right, it turns your ordinary cellular phone into a hands-free speakerphone. No more fumbling with your cell phone when your hand should be on the wheel. With CellTech, you can talk and listen completely hands-free while you drive safely and comfortably.
Everything's signed and ready to go.
That's great. I'll be there in about 10 minutes, okay?
CellTech works with all the top makes and models, like Nokia, Motorola, Ericsson, and more. Simply place your phone in the padded phone holder and clip the holder to your vent. Now attach the power pack to your phone, plug the other end into your cigarette lighter, and that's it. Just a few quick seconds, and you're ready to go. The built-in speaker and microphone let you enjoy the same hands-free convenience as the drivers of those expensive luxury cars.
I still have to pick up Sean at soccer practice.
Okay, honey. I'll pick up something for dinner. See you soon.
In fact, your CellTech has even more features. The powerful speaker can be tilted for optimum hearing, and you can adjust the volume any way you like it. And look, CellTech also comes with a charger adapter, so you can charge your phone while you're using it. When you leave the car, you have a fully charged cell phone to take with you. But the greatest feature of all is the price. You've seen similar hands-free phone kits selling for almost $60. But CellTech, with all its features, is yours for the amazing low price of only $19.95. But wait, order in the next 10 minutes and you'll also get this CellTech earpiece absolutely free. Just plug it in and enjoy private conversations. Don't delay. Order your CellTech now.
To order CellTech, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-743-5600 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $6.95 shipping to CellTech, 6960 Eastgate Boulevard, Lebanon, Tennessee, or call 1-800-743-5600.
At your Metro Detroit Ford dealers, you'll find there are just as many finance choices as there are great new cars and trucks. We work with Ford Credit, and they give you lots of finance choices.
Like 2001 Ford Taurus financing as low as 0.9%, or get $1,000 customer cash. 0.9% financing will save you thousands.
You've got to be comfortable not only with the vehicle, but with the financing as well.
31 Metro Detroit Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
Business is an art, whether you're in a service business or maybe a family business, even a fun in the sun business. You've got to look and breed apart. Now there's a printer that's smart and fast, Xerox inkjet printers. At $99, they're just a smarter breed of inkjet printer, because sooner or later, everyone's got to take care of business. Now available everywhere.
have a right to be here. He murdered my daughter, and I want to see justice taken care of.
How many people even know what happens in execution?
You will see.
I've seen the devil, I've heard the devil, I have seen the destruction he can do on people.
You will learn.
I call upon Chairman Khrushchev to move the world back from the abyss of destruction.
It appeared to me that unless the Soviets backed down, we were marching right to nuclear war.
You will meet.
I don't think there's any doubt that I was near death.
A number of my very close black friends have said to me, Colin, don't fool yourself.
You will know. Informative documentaries, exclusive investigations, provocative profiles. In 2001, MSNBC, the whole picture.
When news breaks, MSNBC takes you there 24 hours a day.
A very serious breaking news story.
MSNBC, we bring you the whole picture.
You're listening to The Mitch Albom Show. Our phone number is 877-44-MITCH or email heymitch@hotmail.com.
Our next guest up here on the Mitch Albom Show is an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster. You see him on NBC in many capacities, not just in all kinds of sports and hosting the Olympics, but also in, well, the later show for a number of years. And see, well, any show they got on NBC, they'll put him on. And now, Bob is my kind of guy because he's managed to do what we're trying to do here, which is bring the networks together. So, you know, I work for ABC and now MSNBC, and Bob, who works for NBC, has now got a new show on HBO, so they all got to get along with him. It's called On the Record with Bob Costas, and it's going to begin next week on Valentine's Day, and Bob joins us here on the Mitch Albom Show. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, Mitch, how are you?
I'm doing fine. You know, I figured when I started doing this, I was going to call you anyhow because you have had to make that transition a couple of times in your life from, oh, he's a sportscaster, how can he be sitting down with actors or directors or people like that? And now, you know, you're at NBC, and then they're going to say, well, how can he be on HBO? Have you built up a sort of resistance to people trying to pigeonhole you in a box?
Well, I think you just go out and do the best job that you can under whatever the circumstances are. If there's anything I object to in terms of pigeonholing, and I try to roll with the punches on all of it, it's less about that than about people who pigeonhole you about your views, no matter how clearly you've expressed those views. So occasionally, and you've probably seen this, I'll still read or hear drivel about how I'm a baseball purist or traditionalist from people who have to put everything in a soundbite or in a caricature, even though I've taken pains to express what my real point of view is, which is considerably more nuanced than that. Or, you know, if you're
so you're already using words that are too big for those guys to write down. You can't say considerably more nuanced.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go.
No wonder they stick with your original stuff. It's easier to understand. Speak English.
Or sometimes if you're hosting programming, people will confuse you with what surrounds you on the programming, you know, rather than what you yourself have said or done.
And that can be a very dangerous thing if you're hosting one of those football shows in the morning prior to the games, because the things you're surrounded by and those things are incredible.
Exactly. So sometimes I'll see attributed to me sensibilities or points of view that actually not only aren't accurate, but they're the opposite of what the track record shows that I've said or done. And, you know, you get used to it after a while. If you're a public figure and you're on the radar screen to any extent, you're in the middle of this crazy hurly-burly, and you hope it all comes out in the wash. You hope that the consensus of opinion about you is informed and reasonable. But at the edges, there's always going to be goofball stuff that apparently you can't correct because people don't pay attention.
Well, you did a pretty good job. From 88 through 94, you managed not only to be, I think, pretty much the preeminent sports broadcaster, but you hosted the later program where I would see you sitting down with everybody from Mel Brooks to, I think, Paul McCartney. And didn't you tell me there was I don't know if this ever saw the light of air, but you were going to talk to Bob Dylan, or Bob Dylan called and said, I want to talk to Bob Costas. I want to talk to Costas.
And that would have been a great story if he had called me, but actually his publicist called. To this day, I've never met Bob Dylan, but like just about everybody of my generation, I was a fan of his and pretty familiar with his work. And his publicist called. It's hard to even think that Bob Dylan has a publicist.
Yeah, really.
That doesn't sound right. But somebody from the record company, a couple of years ago, when he had something of a resurgence, and he was simultaneously on the cover of Newsweek and Rolling Stone, and he said, much to my surprise, Bob used to watch the later show and saw that you had a lot of musicians on, and he'd feel comfortable talking with you. He wants to do one primetime interview, and he'd like to do it with you. But unfortunately, there was no appropriate place to do it on NBC, and the later program, which was a late-night show anyway, but the later program was gone by then, at least for me. I had left it in '94. So here we had Bob Dylan calling me, or one of his representatives calling me, asking to do an interview, and it never happened because NBC couldn't find a place to accommodate it, much to my...
I'm sorry, but with 24 hours worth of programming, there's got to be a slot for Bob Dylan.
Well, you know, you're on MSNBC here. You're putting us both on the spot, and here's what happened.
So what?
They did, in fact, say that we could do it on MSNBC, but that didn't seem appropriate. And the network, in its news magazines, whatever its focus groups and whatever its research was, said that this isn't the kind of thing that works anymore. You know, post-Diana, post-OJ, post some of these, you know, Monica Lewinsky and whatnot, there's a whole different metabolism. I'm not saying that the shows are always geared toward that sort of thing, but there's a different kind of thing, the court TV sort of stuff, and some of it has merit.
Well, but if you put Bob Dylan on an island with a bunch of other rock stars, and every week they got to vote one of those old rock stars off, now they'd be interviewing them. You'd have a slot on the morning show.
There you go. Ted Nugent, hit the raft.
We're talking to Bob Costas here on the Mitch Albom Show. Our phone numbers are 877-44-MITCH. Talking about things that stick with you that won't go away. Now, here we are, well, not quite, probably about 6 months since the Olympic Games in Sydney. And there was a lot of stuff that was thrown against the wall there, some of which stuck to you, Bob. And it's not like you scheduled the Olympics,
right?
But the whole tape delay thing of that. If you could go back and redo the Sydney Games and advise the people at NBC, knowing now, you know, what you didn't know then, what would you say?
Well, you play the hand you're dealt, as you said, and I didn't have that much of a problem with the tape delay aspect because in order to schedule most of the events at a time that would have put them in the heart of prime time in the States, you would have had to put them late morning, early afternoon in Australia, and these Olympics were tremendously important to the Australian people, much more important than Atlanta and Salt Lake City put together and multiplied by 10 are to the American people. Not that they're unimportant, but they're just part of an overall sports landscape. In Australia, this was the biggest thing to hit the country in many, many years, and it was talked about not just during those 2 or 3 weeks, but for years beforehand. They're still buzzing about it. And it would have been inappropriate, I think, to gear all of it simply toward prime time in Peoria. But I think what I would have liked to have seen done, and I say this respectfully, I wish that we could have made it clearer what time of the night certain events would happen. To say, you know, Maurice Green's going to get on the track at 9:15, and this is going to happen at about 10:30, and that way, knowing that it was on tape, people could make their choice. But I guess there are television reasons not to do it that way.
Well, sure, because if they know that the thing's not coming on until 9:15 and it's 7, they're liable to go look at another program for 2 hours and 15 minutes, come back, watch Maurice Green for 10 seconds and say, I think I saw that, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the reality of modern television. And as you know, I would always prefer, and I'm not saying that these elements are entirely missing, but I would always prefer that there be more journalism, that there be more forthright commentary. I'd prefer to do more in-depth interviews, not to take the fun and the performance out of the Olympics, but there are always issues that surround it, and I'm always ready and willing to get into it to greater depth if I have a chance.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's kind of the nature of what Bob Costas' new thing's going to be. On the Record with Bob Costas. We'll take a brief break here and come back and talk about that. I want to talk about the state of several professional sports as well, where we are with the whole Ray Lewis, Mark Chmura thing in the NFL. The NBA's got its All-Star game. What does that mean this weekend? I want to talk about Dennis Miller on Monday Night Football, and I'm going to ask Bob a few more questions about how to host one of these programs. All that coming back with Bob Costas here on the Mitch Albom Show right after this.
You're watching MSNBC. The #1 national newscast in prime time. Don't miss the news with Brian Williams. Tonight at 9 on MSNBC. The whole picture.
Lester Holt at MSNBC World Headquarters. O.J. Simpson free on bond after turning himself in for a traffic altercation involving what authorities believe is a case of road rage. O.J. Simpson with his attorney now meeting the press. Let's join that news conference in progress from Miami. Apparently we don't have sound yet, but there is the picture. He turned himself in related to an incident in December in which, as the police report seems to indicate, There was an altercation involving O.J. Simpson and another driver. The other driver apparently stopped, honked a horn after allegedly witnessing Mr. Simpson blow through a stop sign. According to that person's report, O.J. Simpson then stopped. There was an exchange of words, and he accuses O.J. Simpson of reaching in and grabbing his glasses from his face and scratching him. Simpson then left. The alleged victim says he heard Simpson's daughter say, "No, Daddy, no, Daddy." Again, O.J. Simpson now has turned himself in today. He is free on $9,000 bond. You see him there at that news conference sitting with his attorney. The attorney has already suggested that this was not O.J. Simpson's fault, that this was some sort of misunderstanding. The prosecutor, the state attorney, Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, says that fight was more than exchange of words, saying that Simpson committed a crime. They will prosecute this as a felony. The prosecutor is saying that she would probably not go for jail time, but would seek some sort of counseling, something that would put Simpson in an anger control program. According to the police report, Miami police report, the alleged victim did not recognize it, the person as O.J. Simpson, right away, but did as the altercation continued. He was not injured badly, but again, his face was scratched, he said, when Simpson reached in and pulled the glasses from his head through the open window of the car. The alleged victim then drove home after Simpson drove off, then called police. Police came to his home, examined the glasses, examined them as evidence, and the report was filed. Again, this occurred back in December, and Simpson now meeting the press. We apologize that we don't have any audio yet from that news conference. We're working as quickly as we can. In fact, I'm told no one does right now, so we're all looking at the same picture here, waiting to get some sense of O.J. Simpson apparently telling his side of this story. Not clear what transpired between December and now, and why he chose today to turn himself in to the Miami authorities. He was booked today, again freed on $9,000 bond. He faces a felony burglary charge, and perhaps we'll get a better explanation of the burglary charge and a misdemeanor battery charge for the traffic altercation itself. The motorist in the case, Jeffrey Pattinson, again says Simpson reached into his car and grabbed those glasses. He had apparently triggered all this by honking his horn at Simpson for driving through a stop sign. NBC's Kerry Sanders is also following all this from Miami. He joins us on the telephone right now. Kerry, any sense of what we may be hearing from O.J. Simpson right now?
Well, I'm actually downstairs in the parking lot. It's a really crowded, small room. O.J. is giving the news conference now. I can try in a moment or two to get upstairs on the 9th floor of the building where he's holding the news conference. I guess there's some sort of audio problem with the microphone.
Kerry, I'm told we may be able to have some sound. Let's see if we can listen in now.
And if I'm disappointed in anything, is I feel it's been a little hype beyond what it deserves. I've gotten calls from my mother, who's 80, who's a little upset, from my mother-in-law, who's around 70, I'm sorry, Judy, I've said that, who are both somewhat upset because the reports of 15 years in jail, and I think every adult here knows that this isn't that type of situation. So whatever questions you might have, sure.
Few short questions. One at a time. Anybody? Fred?
Could this affect your custody of your children if you are convicted?
First of all, I don't foresee any conviction here, and I don't think that whatever took place warranted this much attention, obviously. I look at the pay. No, I think the Brown family, the parents and all, we talk regularly. They're more than happy. As a matter of fact, they've called me when my kids was there last and commended me on how well my kids are doing. I think anyone who knows my children here and anyone connected with the school sees how well they're doing in school. My house on weekends are always loaded with kids, so my kids are doing great. And I think everybody in my family, and for the most part in the Brown's family, are happy about that.
Mr. Simpson, you moved here in essence, I think. Could you identify yourself, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You moved here to put your kids in a different school and give them a different start on life. Are you now worried that that's eroding away? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, other than these few incidences, as I said, this is an incident that fortunately for me, my kids was there. So they understand, so if they're baffled by anything, is by all of this and what took place today. So they understand what took place. They saw it. So they're comfortable. My kids are pretty sharp and heady kids. I think what's disconcerting to me. Last night is a good example how the hype gets. For a month now I've lived, and my ex-girlfriend and I were all wondering where some report about it, we had a loud argument that brought the police. Well, of course, the police never came to me, and she was surprised they came to her house because I was there about 4 or 5 minutes a month ago. There was no loud argument, and last night Channel 7 finally played the 911 call that had nothing to do with a loud argument. The guy called the police because he saw me getting out of my car, and he erroneously thought there was some court order keeping me from being in the neighborhood, and last night Channel 7 played the 911 tape, but for some inexplicable reason, all over the country they were saying there was a loud argument that brought the police, which never happened. So that's disconcerting to me and my kids, that I'm constantly being written about, even though the police never come to me with it, about alleged incidences that never happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Donna Green, Fox News Channel. Can you say what your position on the incident is? You say you're innocent. What happened from your point of view?
I can't get into that, but let me tell you, I've been on the record to state I felt it was a non-incident, and I think the facts will show that. One of the reasons, as these guys know, that I'm vigorously, I don't want any deals, I don't want anything. I want to contest this to show people what kind of life I live at times when something that is, to me, so inconsequential can get blown into what's happening here. So I am actually, for the first time, looking forward to a litigation.
Mr. Simpson, Tony Whitten with Associated Press.
Yeah.
Your attorney used the term road rage. Catherine Fernandez-Rundle today used the term road rage in describing this incident. How do you describe it?
Well, I was never mad at anyone.
Excuse me, I'm not going to let Mr. Simpson answer any questions about the facts of this case itself. If you want to ask him about his feelings about the incident or anything about his family life, that's fine. But in terms of his definition of what road rage is, or what Ms. Rundle stated at her press conference, we're not going to comment on that.
Now, I want to add to that, though.
We both believe, Mr. Simpson and I believe that the State Attorney's Office handled this in an extremely professional manner. They allowed Mr. Simpson to self-surrender. We actually made an appointment. We arrived on time. We were processed quickly. He was shown every professional courtesy he could possibly be shown, and the prosecutors that are in charge of this case are to be commended for that.
I want to add also that never in my life have I chased a guy in a car, put a high beam on him, blow the horn. To me, from what I gather, that's part of what road rage is about, and I don't think anybody has alleged that I went after anybody in a car, chased anybody anywhere.
Clearly, as I'm sure you all know by reading the police reports in this case, Mr. Simpson was not the aggressor here. Mr. Simpson was taking his children home, and Mr. Simpson was tracked down by another vehicle. So you can draw your own conclusions.
Mr. Simpson,
Yeah.
Michael Hiplin with CBS
Hello, Mike.
Radio. This is the third incident since you've moved down here to South Florida. Do you think the attention these incidents have been getting is unfair or unwarranted?
Well, definitely. As I told you last night, there was a bunch of stories on Channel 7 was running the story, and as you know, for the last month, they were talking about O.J., another incident. Police came to. I had no loud screaming argument with an ex-girlfriend. You know, I was there for a few minutes. We may have talked about something, but it was no loud screaming argument. It was reported all over the country that that's why the police came. Well, last night, if you hear the 911 tape, something I'm afraid NBC didn't correctly report, the guy says on the tape, O.J. got out of his car, he's walking to his girlfriend's house. I believe there's a court order against him being here, and you should get a car here. Well, the guy was wrong. There's never in my life have I ever had a court thing against me to go anywhere or to do anything, yet this was reported that it was the 911 call was because neighbors heard loud noises. This guy was wrong. The neighbor was wrong. He apologized to the girl. Since then, I haven't seen him because I haven't been over there since then. But this is what you would call an incident in Miami that was a non-incident.
Yes, sir.
David,
Yes.
do you think that the police are trying to send you some sort of a message in this case and perhaps anxious for the authorities to charge you?
Well, I got to tell you, I know a lot of police officers here in Miami. They've all been terrific. I got to say, many of them are pretty upset by the attention this is getting because I know to a lot of them that they deal with real serious road rage, and to them this was nothing. I know a lot of police officers, and where I'm constantly hearing the media state that the police or O.J.'s involved with the police, it's strange. I never see the police. They never come to me to talk about these incidences that, other than this incident, I think one other time when actually I was the guy who called the police, they never come to me. But I'm hearing in the police I'm always hearing in the media that O.J. is involved with the police again, and the police never come to me.
Anyone else?
One last thing. Does all of these things discourage you in your ability to continue to live here?
No, actually, I love it here. The people here are terrific. These are really kind of rare instances, and the public is great. It's just that, for instance, as I say, when something happens, they get a little blown out of proportion. And I know a lot of you people in the media, and many of you apologize, but I know your orders now are to be here. And I'm sure a lot of you felt that was almost a little bit of a waste of time to hang around that place all day. I know it's a story if I'm arrested, but I don't think this is, certainly qualifies with other things that have happened in my life, or maybe 10 things that I can read about that happened here locally in the paper today. So I'm not discouraged at all. I mean, I'm used to it. This happens to be, because of this happening now, I think it gives me an opportunity to show the citizens of Miami and the country just how out of proportion something can become. And I hate totally blaming the media, but I think the media is the main cause of it.
Okay, one more.
Welcome to Miami.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Sandy calling News Radio.
Yeah.
OJ, do you think these constant instances are having a damp on your kids being able to adjust to Miami and be here? How is it affecting them?
I find it curious when people talk about my kids. Anybody who knows my kids and they see my kids, you don't see two well-adjusted kids ever. I mean, their grades are great. They go to great schools. Both of them have tons of friends. Their friends come over. It was more damaging on 2 occasions before I moved here, when in the middle of the night the police come running in my house because they get these erroneous calls that something is going on with the kids in the house, and I had children's services show up in uniformed police who want to wake my kids up, which I don't let them do it, because the last time they were woken by police officers, you know what the situation was. But invariably, I let them speak to my kids. Invariably, they end up telling me what terrific, well-spoken kids you have. And I don't think anybody who's met my kids or seen my kids would tell you otherwise. Everything you hear about my kids, and if you see them, they're happy, they're healthy, they're smart, smarter than I am, for that matter, and they're well-adjusted, and they love it here in Miami like I love it here in Miami.
Okay, folks, anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
O.J. Simpson with his attorney Yale Galanter there meeting in front of reporters in Miami just hours after Simpson turned himself in to authorities in Miami. They made an appointment, all related to a December 4th traffic incident in which O.J. Simpson at the news conference said he believed was a non-incident. He went on to say that he believes the media continue to overblow issues in his life. In this case, it was reported that in a traffic argument, he reached in and grabbed the glasses off a 55-year-old man, scratching him a little bit. The man not injured badly, but nonetheless charges filed today against O.J. Simpson. He's booked and posted $9,000 bond, charged with a burglary of a car, that's a felony, and a battery, a misdemeanor. And again, he continuing to downplay the incident, his attorney not allowing him to talk about the facts of the case. But he went on to talk about what he believes is the unfairness of his treatment toward him and incidents that he's alleged to be involved in. Police have responded to his home apparently 4 times since last year when he moved to South Florida for alleged arguments or disturbances at his home between Simpson and his girlfriend. Again, he downplayed those incidents and also said that the custody of the 2 children that he was awarded continues to go well. The children happy and adjusted. Now, the police report of this alleged traffic incident, the motorist who is the alleged victim here claimed that he heard from Simpson's navigator a child's voice, apparently his daughter's voice, saying "No daddy, no daddy," as Simpson reached in and grabbed the glasses off this man. Not clear what witnesses there are. The state's attorney in Florida is considering this a case of road rage. Simpson was asked about that, whether he thought it was a road rage. His attorney stopped him from saying that and went on to praise the state's attorney in Florida for handling this case professionally and allowing Simpson to turn himself in today by appointment and post bond process very quickly. Let's listen to a little bit of what Simpson said just a short time ago in Miami.
I felt it was a non-incident, and I think the facts will show that. One of the reasons, as these guys know, that I'm vigorously, I don't want any deals, I don't want anything. I want to contest this to show people what kind of life I live at times when something that is, to me, so inconsequential can get blown into what's happening here. So I am actually, for the first time, looking forward to a litigation.
O.J. Simpson saying he's looking forward to a litigation. The last time he was in a civil litigation, he lost and was ordered to pay $33.5 million. That, of course, related to the murders of Ronald Goldman and his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. He was found not guilty, however, of course, in that famous, infamous criminal trial in Los Angeles. But this litigation, he says, he's looking forward to expose what he believes is the unfairness of the treatment, much of it, he believes, in the hands of the media toward O.J. Simpson, especially since he moved to South Florida with his 2 young children a year or so ago. NBC's Kerry Sanders has been covering this story since Simpson turned himself in about noon Eastern time. Kerry joins us now on the telephone. Kerry, any thoughts of what we just heard?
Well, I guess the one thing that strikes me is, even though his lawyer said do not comment on the facts, the one thing it seems that O.J. wanted to talk about was that this was a non-incident. He wanted to go to court and eventually show everybody it was a non-incident. That's why he said he didn't take any sort of deals, although I'm not quite sure whether any deals were ever really offered. I do know that the detectives investigating this have swelled in ranks. I mean, in a case like this, normally there might be maybe 2 detectives looking into this. In this case, there's in excess of 8 who've been assigned to this case to look into what was or what is one count of a misdemeanor and 1 count of a felony charge. The other thing that I think was somewhat interesting is that O.J. wanted to hold this news conference, told his attorney before he turned himself in that he wanted to hold this news conference, and wants to air, I guess, many of the grievances he has about what he believes is, 1, being in the media too much, and 2, unfairly being portrayed in news stories.
Kerry, we didn't have audio, as you know, at the top of that news conference. Do we understand why he waited between December 4th and now to turn himself in on these charges?
I'm sorry. I've got to tell you, honestly, I was in the same situation as you. I was downstairs in front of a live camera waiting for him to come into the room, so I didn't hear that portion either. All
right, Kerry, and just let folks know, I believe we're looking here at Simpson with his attorney earlier today after he posted that $9,000 bond. Tell me the story of the state's attorney, how they plan to proceed with this case.
Well, the state attorney now will take this through the system as they would any other case. He will have to be eventually in court, but we understand that initially he will not make his first appearance, as it were. He can waive that. He doesn't have to be there. He's posted the $9,000 bond. And in a case like this, typically the state attorney's office would not request that the suspect, O.J. Simpson in this case, be put behind bars. The case itself will proceed through the system, but I think what O.J. Simpson says his greatest concern is now no matter where he goes, he's going to be followed by cameras, paparazzi, and everything else. And he's, did say quite clearly at the news conference, the one thing he says he wants to do is protect his children.
Now, he was also very concerned about the coverage of these other incidents in which police have reportedly been called to his home or his girlfriend's home. The facts of those cases, was he ever arrested, ever charged in those cases where police had to respond?
No, he wasn't. Police did come out, police did investigate, and quite frankly, I've done, like you, Lester, I've done these stories for a long time. People who are in the limelight often complain about the way stories are told, and I would say that's really no different here. O.J. Simpson calls this a non-incident. The state attorney's office clearly doesn't agree with him. That's why he's been charged. So it's all a matter of the prism that he looks through at an event. So his complaints about events that have taken place around him being blown out of proportion, I guess that really depends on, where you sit just about anywhere O.J. goes, he is news simply because of the sensational trial and what took place in Los Angeles.
And no matter what you think about O.J. Simpson, it is hard to escape the number of expressions that he gave during that news conference would give the appearance that he takes this not seriously at all.
I think it looks like he's trying to make it like it's a joke. I mean, he's making faces like it's silly, almost childlike. I mean, it's really kind of childish the way he was showing his face there.
Now, in a case like this, was it handled as it normally would be in terms of the bond and him being released quickly?
Yeah, it's not unusual for an attorney for the client to talk to the police and more or less what you would say negotiate somebody turning themselves in. It happens on a regular basis every day in jurisdictions across the country. So the way he's been handled here would be routine, or at least at this point would appear to be routine.
Kerry, you're based down there in the Bureau in Miami, so you get more O.J. Simpson news than the rest of us. Is he frequently in the papers there? Is he still a subject of wide speculation and interest?
Well, yes, he's, there are the O.J. sighting reports that you see pop up. The entertainment shows that are produced locally constantly have, like, little stories about O.J. playing golf or being denied access to play at a golf course. So, O.J. does have a certain amount of attention, maybe sort of a curious type of celebrity about him everywhere he goes.
Do we know if there are any witnesses to this alleged incident?
Well, the witnesses would be the alleged victim in the car, and there was a voice inside O.J.'s vehicle saying, quote, "Daddy, no, Daddy, no." So that would be one of his two children, we believe. People that the state attorney's office as well as the detectives have spoken to, but the details of which we don't know.
I have a copy of the police report here, and I'll read from it. According to the Mr. Pattison, who is the alleged victim here, he says that Simpson came out and began shouting, "So I blew the stop sign. What are you going to do, kill me and my kids?" Pattison allegedly replies, "What the hell is the matter with you?" And according to him at that point, Simpson reached in and grabbed the glasses. Any indication this man was hurt beyond a few scratches?
No, not at all. Although, I've got the same police report in front of me, and if you read down in it, you'll see that the victim here, or the alleged victim, says that he did not pursue O.J.'s vehicle, did not follow him because he was too shaken by the events to continue to follow this person who had just reached through his window. And I guess the way I read the police report, it looks like initially that the alleged victim didn't even know who it was. It took a couple seconds for it to click in that this was O.J. Simpson, somebody that, he may not know personally, but somebody he clearly knows from publicity.
NBC's Kerry Sanders in Miami. Again, O.J. Simpson free on bond, but facing a misdemeanor and felony charge related to what the prosecutor says is a road rage case. Back now to the Mitch Albom Show from Detroit on MSNBC Live.
And we welcome you back to the Mitch Albom Show. And thanks to Super TC, our musical guests, Mike, Steve, Chad, and Mike making up the band. And you can get their latest CD, Super TC, at Amazon.com, amongst other places. Let's take a look at the world around you and some stories you may or may not have heard right now.
The world. The world. The world. The world, according to Mitch.
Now, the interesting thing about doing a radio show and television show simultaneously is that the audiences don't always hear the same things. So the radio audience continued to hear our interview with Bob Costas, which, may I say, was excellent. Well, I don't mean the interview, but Bob was good.
Bob was great.
The TV audience spent a lot of time listening to O.J. Simpson talk about why he shouldn't be heard. O.J. Simpson picked up for a road rage incident and then has a press conference in which he won't speak about that, but he will talk about how well he's treating his children and how well they're getting along. And by the way, why are you all here talking to me about this? And then, of course, all the TV news networks continue to show him talking about why are you here talking to me, and then replay it over and over again. Again, at the risk of biting hands that feed me, but, that's what they get when they hired me. I don't see why O.J. Simpson's on television at all, period. And this is part of the problem in this country, where we continue to take every little incident of that guy and throw him on television if it's a major news-breaking story. Who's at fault? I mean, he did what he did. You say O.J. Simpson was picked up for a road rage thing, but if you turn it into a half hour on television, who's making it the big deal, him or us? So I point the finger at us. Not me particularly in this one case.
Just don't point O.J. when you're around him.
Anyhow, they'll follow out what they were doing. Now, I'm more interested in item 2 here, which, that was O.J. I ripped, by the way. That felt good. Let me do that again. And there goes another piece of O.J.
Better be careful.
Columbia University. Now, this was my alma mater. And those of you who were with us on yesterday's program, I was really ashamed of the way my alma mater, the Columbia Journalism School, behaved in this whole Al Gore deal, because Al Gore goes there to teach a class, 6 or 7 lectures, and they basically tell the kids, well, it's off the record. Now, how can you have a journalism class off the record? I mean, you're supposed to be teaching these kids how to be journalists, and then they're saying, well, but what you hear here, you can't speak about, and you can't do anything about. And you can't talk to people about it because it's off the record. And I thought that this was really sending the wrong message. And so did a lot of other people I spoke to who are graduates of the school. So yesterday we got a hold of Daron Levine, who writes a business column for the Detroit Free Press, very successful alum of the school. We got a professor, Melvin Mencher, who was a terrific professor when I was there at Columbia. I mean, he taught like all the basic classes. You had to take his class in order to get anywhere in the school. Got him on the line, and the three of us tried to call the dean of my old school, the Columbia Journalism School, to which I have paid thousands of dollars in tuition and still owe some money. I'm going to see how fast they get that now. And tried to get the dean on the phone to try to explain. Now, you would think a journalism school would be accountable, right? They're teaching accountability. Listen to part of what happened here. This is we're going to call the dean of our old school right here now, Dean Tom Goldstein. We have tried, my producer has tried to get these people on the phone. They've all refused. Hello, is this Dean Goldstein's office?
Yes, it is.
Yes, hi. This is Mitch Albom from ABC Radio and MSNBC TV. We're actually on the air right now. I'm also joined by Daron Levine, a business columnist from the Detroit
I'm going to have to ask you to hold. Thank you.
That's the first thing that happened. Then we held for about a minute at least.
Right.
I mean, you know, maybe longer. And they didn't even have any. Maybe it was 2 minutes and no music.
No music.
And this is two alums and a professor emeritus just trying to get through to the dean. And then finally we got this. This is the treatment I get from my alma mater.
Hello?
Yes. Is this Dean Goldstein?
No, this is one of his associate deans, Evan Cornock.
Hi, Evan. This is Mitch Albom from MSNBC and ABC Radio and WJ.
Class of 82.
Class of 82.
Class of 81, actually,
81?
in the journalism school, 82 in the business school.
Ah.
Now, what we've been trying to do is get a hold of our dean, since we've got two alums and an ex-professor, to try to explain to us why it is that these students were not supposed to talk about what happened in Al Gore's class and how a journalism school could make a deal like that. And I have to tell you, we've been trying all day long to get through to somebody to talk to us in the program and have been stonewalled, which is not something I don't think my alma mater should be doing, A, to one of its alums, and B, in the interest of journalism.
Well, right now we're preparing a statement that's going to be going up on our website in about, the next half hour on the subject, a statement from the dean. So I'm going to have to refer you to the website, and if I don't get off the phone, it won't get up on the website. So.
Yeah. So now I'm calling my journalism school, my alma mater, giving him money. We got the professor on the phone who's taught there for years. We got another guy who's a very successful columnist, and all they can say to us is check our website, which is something anybody off the street calling in can get the same thing,
you should
too.
Get some special treatment.
And finally, they put up on the website, and they said, well, and this is another confusing thing. They said, well, we never told the students that they shouldn't speak to the media about it. We never said anything like that. We never gave a gag order like that. Well, it just so happens we interviewed one of the students on our program, and I asked him over and over again, what did Al Gore say in the class? What did Al Gore say in the class? This is what he told me.
The whole idea here, though, was to keep the whole, the conversation that he was having with us off the record so that he could feel a little more comfortable with giving us some good information.
It sure sounds to me like somebody told him to keep it off the record. So now, after putting that website thing up yesterday, now they've issued, I find that they've pulled the gag order off altogether. Now they finally realized that you can't keep a journalism class off the record. I mean, what kind of message you sending? Because then, by the way, what exactly is Al Gore going to say in a class to a bunch of 22 and 23, 24-year-olds that's going to break some kind of national security? I mean, if he's got something to say like that, he probably shouldn't be telling a bunch of kids, because they may not go out and tell newspapers, but they might tell their dad who works for some counterintelligence agency or something. So I don't think there's anything in that class that, I just think it sends the wrong message. They used to said to him, look, Mr. Gore, we'd love to have you, but if you can't do things, it's a journalism school. If we can't keep things open,
you're a professor.
You can't teach here. And that would have been a better lesson to teach those kids about journalism than it would be to say, well, we're so thrilled to have this celebrity on our faculty that we'll make whatever deal we want. And then we'll spin it, and if the alums call in to try to find out what's going on, we'll refer them to our website. So when they call me for the rest of my tuition, I'm going to refer them to my website.
Maybe Gore was going to try to spell potato or something like Dan Quayle did, and that's why he wanted to keep it quiet.
My website doesn't actually give out any money, by the way.
No money.
I'm aware of. Yeah.
No website.
Finally.
You feel better now?
Yeah, I feel better. I got that off my chest.
He likes those pages up.
Well, they retracted it, so obviously if they retracted it, they must have done something, right?
Former student, makes a retraction.
Yeah. So, well, the previous student told me that my picture was up on the wall at Columbia.
Right.
But I think the dean insinuated that it was actually on the bathroom wall of Columbia, which is not really the same thing as being up on the wall. Right. So anyhow, having said all that, it was a wonderful place to go to school. It is a great journalism school. I just think they stepped in it a little bit this time, and now they're cleaning it off their shoe.
Now they're straight.
That's about all there is to that. We'll come back with the sports here on the Mitch Albom Show, and lots more to come. Stay with us, please.
#1 national newscast in prime time. Don't miss The News with Brian Williams. Tonight at 9 on MSNBC. The whole picture.
There is a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Some discount brokers try to attract you with flashy come-ons. But what are they really offering? Harris Investor Line is a better kind of discount broker, a direct broker. Invest online, by phone, or with a person. Get the advantage of direct investing. Harris Investor Line. A lot more to offer than just offers.
For your free starter kit, call toll-free 1-866-234-LINE.
I'm Rick Stoddard. That's my wife, Marie. She died from smoking cigarettes. She was 46 years old. 46. Now I look back on our lives together and I just keep coming back to she died at 46 years old. I guess I never thought of 23 as middle-aged.
Do you like legs? Well, here's an attractive set. The pound of sweet snow crab legs at Red Lobster for only $10.99. The pound of meaty, succulent snow crab legs at a price you simply can't resist. Red Lobster. Go overboard.
You sit here, they sit there. You and them. Morningstar sits on your side, helping you invest smarter. Before you invest, investigate at Morningstar.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lester Holt. Mitch Albom will be right back after we catch up with the headlines. We begin in Miami, where less than a half an hour ago, O.J. Simpson held a news conference to defend himself from charges stemming from an alleged road rage incident. The prosecutor there is calling it road rage. Simpson in that news conference a short time ago believed it was a non-incident and smiled through about a 20-minute long news conference with his attorney. He didn't talk about the facts of the case, but suggested that this case is being blown up, much like other reports of police responding to his home in Florida for alleged domestic incidents over the last year that he has been in South Florida. Let's listen to a little bit of O.J. Simpson just a short time ago.
I love it here. The people here are terrific. These are really kind of rare instances, and the public is great. It's just that, for instance, as I say, when something happens, it gets a little blown out of proportion. And I know a lot of you people in the media, and many of you apologize, but I know your orders now are to be here. And I'm sure a lot of you felt that was almost a little bit of a waste of time to hang around that place all day. I know it's a story if I'm arrested. But I don't think this is, certainly qualifies with other things that have happened in my life, or maybe 10 things that I can read about that happened here locally in the paper today. I felt it was a non-incident, and I think the facts will show that. One of the reasons, as these guys know, that I'm vigorously, I don't want any deals, I don't want anything. I want to contest this to show people what kind of life I live at times when something that is, to me, so inconsequential can get blown into what's happening here. So I am actually, for the first time, looking forward to a litigation. Guy says on the tape, O.J. got out of his car, he's walking to his girlfriend's house. I believe there's a court order against him being here, and you should get a car here. Well, the guy was wrong. There's never in my life have I ever had a court thing against me to go anywhere or to do anything, yet this was reported that it was the 911 call was because neighbors heard loud noises. This guy was wrong. The neighbor was wrong. He apologized to the girl. Since then, I haven't seen him because I haven't been over there since then. But this is what you would call an incident in Miami that was a non-incident.
In that case, Simpson talking about what was a reported domestic incident in which authorities responded to his home. What he is in trouble for now and free on $9,000 bond, facing a misdemeanor and felony count, is an alleged case of road rage that occurred December 4th, in which allegedly Simpson cut off another driver as he blew through a stop sign. That driver honked the horn, stopped the car. Simpson reportedly came to that guy's window, reached in, exchanged some words, grabbed his glasses, and scratched him. He filed charges, and again, upon arrangement of an appointment, Simpson turning himself in today free on $9,000 bond. We'll return you to the Mitch Albom Show in just a moment here on MSNBC Live.
As we welcome you back here on the Mitch Albom Show, our thanks to Super TC, our musical guest. Find out more about them at www.supertc.com.
Super.
Let's bring you up to date on some things that are happening in the world of sports in a moment. Well, all right, I guess we'll do it now.
Wow.
I was going to tell you that next week on the program, amongst our guests, Stephen King is going to join us, the fine horror novelist.
He scares me, Mitch.
He's a good guy. Warren Zevon will be with us then next week, who we didn't get a chance to do
How's he
this
doing?
week.
Speaking of Stephen King, you know, I know he got hit by the car.
Stephen's doing all right. He's walking without a cane, and he's vacationing down in Florida, and he's recovering. He's doing better. What is this, Steve?
That's not me.
Steve Courtney with the sports.
That's not me. Well, it is me, and I know who it is. I know who's on the phone. Can I do
J-Lo,
something?
right?
As a nation, Mitch Albom, we are coming to grips with something very sad. That is the breakup of Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I see that.
After doing some investigation, it comes to be that the marriage went awry because Nicole wanted her children to be baptized Catholic, and Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. Meanwhile, yours truly, Catholic. There was a movie. There was a movie in which the setting was Ireland, the Emerald Isle, and it just turns out that I'm Irish.
Yeah, where are you going with this?
Fact of the matter is, divorce is a terrible thing. I should know. I went through it. Nicole Kidman probably needs a shoulder to cry on. If that shoulder should be mine, what's the big deal?
Okay.
The best of luck to both of them. Perhaps they'll need it.
I'm sure she appreciates your words of support.
Choice. No, after Tom Cruise, he was the second choice.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it actually was the third. It was Tom Cruise, the rest of the world, and Steve Courtney.
I just wanted to bring everything to light here because I think it was something that needed to be addressed.
Okay, well, I feel better now, and I'm sure she does too.
My phone ringing, chances well it was her. Now we move on with a little sports news of the day.
Oh, man.
We've got
guy is out there.
NBA All-Star Weekend going on in fine fashion in Washington, D.C., for crying out loud. You're going to have all the exciting stuff of the three-point competition. The slam dunk deal is going to be going on tomorrow, as well as the rookie games.
Are they aware that they have a basketball team in Washington, D.C.?
You know what?
I thought people have pretty much given up on basketball in Washington, D.C. with that team.
Yeah, I don't think really anybody cares, including the owner of the local team there, Michael Jordan, who was last seen being drugged towards the arena. Whether or not he's going to...
I don't want to go.
Forget about the slam dunk. Forget about the three-point. Forget about the old-timers game. The big excitement is coming when Ray Lewis comes to town tonight.
Is Ray Lewis coming into Washington?
The show. He's got
by the way, speaking of that, I should have asked Bob Costas about this, but has anyone gotten more of a free ride than Michael Jordan with this Washington Wizards thing? I mean, the amount, again, talk about disproportionate attention. You know, what we do with O.J. Simpson, and when he took that job, I mean, it was story day after day after day. Michael Jordan's going to be on. He's going to turn this team around. Nobody knows better basketball than Michael Jordan. They followed him around. They followed him opening his pens and sitting at his desk. That team has gone in the toilet. I mean, they're beyond bad. They're I don't even know if they're still in the league. I think they moved to the CBA, and that folded. And I never hear anybody saying, well, why isn't Michael Jordan accountable for this? All I ever hear when I talk to Tony Kornheiser out of Washington is, well, he's not here. He's never here in Washington.
Keep in mind,
that's not an excuse.
He also has some action in the Washington Capitals of the NHL.
Yeah, look out for them. If you're fans of the hockey team, watch out.
Meanwhile, Derek Jeter, he finally gets a deal done with the New York Yankees. A 10-year, $189 million deal puts him number 2 behind A-Rod as far as buckage in baseball and sport.
And if you're interested in O.J. Simpson as a sports story of sorts, and the reason you've seen him, if you've just kind of been watching television, you've kind of seen his face, what's O.J. doing on there? It's not a retrospective. O.J. Surrendered to authorities today to face charges that he reached into a man's car and pulled off the driver's glasses during a road rage argument back actually in December. He's charged with burglary of a car and misdemeanor battery. I'm not sure how you get that from pulling off some guy's glasses, but anyhow, despite the fact that you'll read that the charges carry up to 16 years behind bars, and they always tell you the charges carry up to, but the prosecutor in Miami says she doesn't think that jail time is appropriate for this. Instead, this is my favorite part of this story. Instead, she says she prefers a sentence that would put Simpson into an anger control program. To which I say, a little late on that particular piece of advice.
If you're involved in an altercation with O.J. Simpson, and the only thing you get out of it is a scratch on your face,
you're a lucky
that's
man.
A good day.
Why are there always glasses involved, too? Have you noticed this thing? Has he got some problem with optical wear? What is the deal? Anyhow, I don't think it warrants the attention that it's no doubt not only already gotten, but will continue to get. But that is American media. So that's as much as we're giving.
Okay. Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Look at her. She's saying
I know.
hello,
She's
Steve.
all Irish, too.
Hey, can I ask you guys something?
Sure. Hands on the
Did you see Silence of the Lambs when it first came out?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that I do not like scary movies. I don't like to be scared. I was traumatized by Carrie.
For years.
Back in college.
Still are.
I saw that movie, and when, what's her name? Sissy Spacek was covered in the pig's blood.
Yeah.
And I went home, and I just saw that for like 16 straight days at night. I couldn't go to sleep. And I said, Dad, what am I doing? Why am I paying money to have my sleep disturbed? So I said, that's going to be it for scary movies. But once in a while, somebody will drag me out to one. They'll say, well, it's not really scary. It's
thriller.
But it is
it's just
scary.
a thriller.
Yeah, and then you end up being scared
And
out
so
of your
that one was really scary because I did see it. Now they got this new one out, Hannibal.
Hello, Mitch.
Hannibal's Silence of the Lambs is creepy. I can't think of any movie that is more creepy.
Well, Hannibal is getting panned.
Oh,
I mean, if the reviews, it just panned, taken apart. Now, that's good news for me because it gives me reason not to see it. But I'm still kind of curious about it. I guess we have a clip and a soundbite from it here. Let's roll it here. If you can judge anything from these next 20 seconds or so. Here's from the new movie Hannibal.
Inspector Potsy.
Is this Clarice? Is this Clarice? Hello, Clarice. I'm afraid I have bad news for you.
Is he dead?
Did you get my note? I hope you like the skin cream. I had it specially made for you.
Is he dead, Dr. Lecter?
Clarice, there's nothing in this world that I would love more than to be able to chat with you. Unfortunately, you've caught me at an awkward moment.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Isn't that scary?
It creeps me out.
That's fine cinema.
However, it is not doing well on the review scale here.
Well, it usually happens in sequels.
No, it's getting. Time Magazine gave it a great review, but I've seen 1 star. I'm leafing through some of these just.
But Mitch, you've been around.
2-star. Roger Ebert gave it 2.5. Okay,
what are your credentials to be a movie critic to begin with? Isn't it kind of like a food critic where if you pan a certain dish, somebody else is going to like it? I mean, just because somebody is saying, you know what, that's a bad film and the first one was much better. Hey, that's for them. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, I know you will.
Matinee, of course.
It's kind of your kind of film.
Matinee for him.
I'm not. I think I'm going to take all these 1-star reviews and 1/2-star reviews and let everybody else see it this weekend.
Well, what's it
going to
make?
Going.
Let's predict right now.
Oh, it'll make a fortune.
70?
I've been talking about this.
70 mil?
No.
Nah, that's too much.
You
There's
think?
nothing else out.
40 mil.
Dude, where's my
40 mil.
car? I think is what it's up against this weekend. The cheerleader flick.
Dude, where's my car? Made a lot of money.
Well, what do you say, 40? I say 70.
Dude, where's my money?
I say 70 mil.
80 million plus. Dinner on it.
$80 million.
80 million. 80 million,
Why
mister.
you want to high-low me, man? I said 70.
No,
At least
no,
go
no.
90.
Because
Wait, all right, we got somebody who just saw the movie. Hi, Bob. Let me bring him up here. Bob, you saw this film?
I saw the film.
Wait a minute, you sound a little like Lecter.
Well, I'm telling you, what they did to Ray Liotta's character at the end of the film, Mitch will never stomach it. Steve will love it.
Well, I'm not going then. I assume Ray Liotta is.
Don't tell us.
Ray Liotta is in this film, and he's like chasing after Lecter or something. Does he eat his pancreas with a light Chianti?
Not his pancreas, Mitch.
No, we don't want to know, man.
All right, don't ruin it for everybody. Don't ruin it for everybody, but just give us your. This is a man on the street review. Is it worth seeing?
if you like gore, it's worth seeing.
Al Gore?
Scott Ridley does a marvelous job in the directing.
Listen
to this guy.
You like gore.
That are totally gory. Don't bother.
This comes from a man who calls in and says, Mitch, I saw the movie.
I was in
And by the way, he saw it before 5 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, the day it opened. So I guess employment isn't figuring key in
Bob
at
speaks
least daytime
slowly, just
employment.
like Hannibal, too.
All right, we're going to take a brief break here and come back with something a little lighter. We're going to do the Bad Song Prison. I know Tom Cruise and Nicole. Okay,
Far
you
and
showed
Away
me
was
that thing.
panned, you know.
If you've got a song that you would like to see locked up forever on Fridays, that's what we do here on the Mitch Albom Show. We perform a public service. We lock up one song away forever and ever, never to bother you again. So if there's something along the lines of Tiptoe Through the Tulips that's been haunting you, now is the time to call. 877-44-MITCH. We'll lock them away as we incarcerate bad songs. On the other side of this break, stay with us.
Album Flashback.
A fellow alum of the Columbia University School of Journalism, Daron Levine, who now works as the business columnist for the Detroit Free Press.
Don't you guys got a secret password or something you give each other when you meet?
Yes, the Columbia Journalism Brothers.
Columbia Journalism School secret handshake.
How do you want to? Okay, there you go. Professor Melvin Mencher, who is now Professor Emeritus. I still have to call him Professor because all my teachers I have that. But Professor Mencher, is that you? Are you on the line?
Well, I always called you Mr. Albom.
Yeah.
Even when you had the wrong answer.
Yeah, which was frequent, by the way.
Drivers face many.
Brought to you in part by T. Rowe Price, helping you invest with confidence.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, these people were like family to me. Remember I met Jeannie at the company picnic?
It was the best thing ever happened to you.
Yeah, taking the new job was a tough decision. Deciding what to do with my 401k money was another. I didn't want to mess it up. I called T. Rowe Price. You know, you told me about the mutual funds.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, they sent me a rollover kit, you know. Took me through it step by step.
Or made it easy for you.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Call the rollover specialists at T. Rowe Price.
It's going to be a good job.
Yeah.
Walgreens is pleased to announce millions of new locations. Your homes. Presenting Walgreens.com. Now you can join millions of users who manage their health care on America's healthiest website. Just think, all of this under one, well, make that millions of roos. Register online or come into Walgreens Pharmacy and we'll do it for you. Walgreens.com. Another reason Walgreens is the pharmacy America trusts.
I started my own business back in 1982. Sometimes the business of the practice of law can take over the profession of practicing law. What Gateway has done is they've given me the opportunity to be more of a lawyer and less of a business person. The Gateway Advisor brought in the computer workstations and the server. It just integrated seamlessly with my existing network. The personalized attention was remarkable. It's like a tailor-made suit. It fits my business because it was designed with me in mind.
Come on, come on, come on.
Luxury is belonging to a club that's so exclusive. It only has 4 members. Navigator from Lincoln, American luxury.
When I evaluate a company, I ask myself, would I put my own money in this company? I see no reason to buy the stock in here. This is not a job that's done well behind the desk. We go out doing the field work that the individual investor does not have time to do. The inventory was in terrific shape going into the fourth quarter. My job as an analyst is not just about buy recommendations. It's about not being surprised by anything. At the end of the day, we just want to do what's right for the investor.
My doctor says I'm healthier than he is.
Tylenol Arthritis Pain Extended Relief. As effective as the most prescribed arthritis pain medicine, but much gentler to your stomach.
When I swim, I'm free.
Our eyes have natural moisturizers, tears, so we took ingredients found in natural tears, added more moisturizers than any leading drop, and put them in Visine Tears. For soothing relief, Visine Tears. It gets the dry out.
Money's in the air. Wireless companies keep investors talking. But it takes more than hot technology to get Janus excited. Janus bought into one company after learning their business from the inside out. Even projected how fast they could grow. by counting their antennas and meeting their technicians on rooftops to see how fast they could install more. Now every signal says money to Janus. Get there. Janus Mutual Funds.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I was hosting my first big business dinner, and I paid with my Visa card. Turns out I was over my limit. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. So I got the American Express card, and it never happened again.
Call 1-800-THE-CARD. We can take your application right over the phone.
Applying for the card was one of the easiest things I've ever done, and smartest. And anyone who's ever gone anywhere knows it. I have a place to cash checks, get my mail, and get help when I need it.
My dad said the minute you get a job, get an American Express card. He said, trust me on this one. I've gone everywhere with it. And here's a tip. Sign up for membership rewards, and everything you charge on the card will earn you program points, so you can keep on traveling.
So call now for the American Express card. You can apply right over the phone.
It helped not having a preset limit.
It's great getting points every time you use the card.
I can call 24 hours a day. That helps.
No matter what you do or where you go, the American Express card can help you do more.
Jackie Mason's World Tour.
You know what a hit I am? Come to show we go. I'm such a hit. I can't even believe I'm talking to you.
He's back in an all-new riot.
People are coming from all over the world. Everybody knows it's a whole new show. You can't even get a ticket. Try my best to save you a seat.
The one, the only, the Jackie.
I'm too big a star to hang around with commercials. What was the line again? Do me a favor. Let's get a prune Danish.
Jackie Mason's coming to the Second City Theater. Get your tickets now.
You think I need this commercial? It's the last thing I need.
Children are fascinated by the wonders of the natural world. We need to show them and teach them, because the child you interest in science today may save your life or your world tomorrow.
Take a look at this cell right here. What do you think? It's a tornado. Better time it up.
So inspire tomorrow's scientists today.
Something you don't see every day. The CIO of a Fortune 500 company leaving at 5 o'clock. Why isn't he in his office worrying whether microchips from Asia are tracking through India to factories in Europe? Because when his company made the shift to e-commerce, they went with GE Global Exchange Services. GE built them a seamless, trouble-free network so he can move on to more important business. GE Global Exchange Services. E-commerce without the e-worry.
You're watching MSNBC.
All right, thanks to Super TC as we welcome you back here on the Mitch Albom Show on this Friday. Glad to have you joining us all across America. Our phone numbers are 877-44-MITCH. You can dial in whether you're listening to us on the radio or watching us on the television on MSNBC. In just a moment, a public service by our program, which we do every Friday, which is to lock up a bad song and keep it from bothering you forever. First, a look at the stocks. Here is our own Rachel Nevada with that, Rachel.
Well, Mitch, stocks closed in negative territory today amid continued worries about weak corporate earnings in the slowing economy. The Dow lost 99 points to finish at 10,781. The NASDAQ closed down 91 points, ending at 2,470.
Well, every week here on the Mitch Albom Show on a Friday, to send you off on a happy note into the weekend, we perform a public service here by locking up a terrible song, never to be heard again, because you know how they drive you crazy here in the radio. Oh, God, I hate that song. Well, that's why we invented the Bad Song Prison. Have you ever had a song like this? No matter what you do, you can't get rid of it. You try blowing it up. It keeps coming back. You try clonging it on the head with a baseball bat. Keeps coming back. You drop it into the nearest ocean. Keeps coming back. That's why we invented the Bad Song Prison here on the Mitch Albom Show, the world's most secure facility for bad songs. Let's swing open the big door and find out who gets nominated for incarceration this week. We begin with Nancy. You're first up. You're a nominee for incarceration, please.
Oh, hello, Mitch.
Oh, hello.
All right, I've already picked out. Well, I was about to do the dead skunk in the middle of the road and told us already been locked up.
Yeah, well, we do have a very large population.
All right, I've already picked. Already found one.
Go ahead.
It's Fish Head by Barnes and Barnes.
Never heard of it.
Fish Head.
But we'll definitely consider it.
Fish Head.
Maybe she should be locked up.
Yeah, you turn yourself in right now.
Alan, you're on the Bad Song Prison. Go ahead.
Hey, Mitch, how you doing?
All right, your nominee, please.
Tub Thumper by Chumbawamba.
Oh, that's the one. I get knocked down, I get up again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Time to lock it away.
What's the name of that group?
Is that what that's called? Tub thumping?
Yeah, Chumbawamba is the name of the group.
Yeah, I get knocked down, but I
They use
get
it
up
on
again.
television a lot during sporting programs and
Yeah.
games and things now, right?
Okay. All right, that's a good one.
That one?
Okay.
That wasn't a great rendition by me, but what are you going to do? Jan, your nominee for incarceration.
Joy to the World by Three Dog Night.
Three Dog
That's
Nightmare.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog, right?
Right,
Yeah, that I never quite figured that out. Here we have that one.
How much narcotics were involved when they wrote the song? Is what I want to know.
Yeah. This one can probably go.
It was a fun song in its day, though.
Well, I think it goes just because Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and then he was a friend of mine. I mean,
great friend.
Look, you're one or the other, right? You're a bullfrog or you're a friend of mine. Unless you're in a Budweiser commercial, you don't have friends who are bullfrogs. So, all right, that's a good nominee. Thank you for that. Let's go to Chris. Your nominee for Bad Song Prison here on the Mitch Albom Show. Chris?
How you doing, Mitch? Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher. It's a throwback to the 70s,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it just fits the Clintons, man.
I remember. Whoa!
Political
See, that's the MSNBC influence, you know? In previous weeks, prior to that, they just would have nominated Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher. But now, with the MSNBC thing, it's like, well, that reminds me of the Clintons. You know, kind of stealing the furniture, all that kind of thing. Do we have that one? Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher? We have that one?
Ugh.
That was a bad song because she's no, there it is. Yeah, she's like brought up in a gypsy camp, and then a guy comes, he gets her pregnant, and then she never sees her again. And yeah, all right, that can go. Julie, your nominee for Bad Song Prison.
Together Forever by Rick Astley.
Oh, Rick Astley. That's the guy with the voice. When you see his picture, he looks like he should be
12.
Yeah, like pumping gas or something, but he has a boy.
Oh, yeah.
His voice doesn't go with the way he looks at all.
Is this a disco era type tune?
80s.
80s?
Yeah, it's post-disco, but...
Post-disco?
Yeah.
Just say the 80s.
You know,
That's all you
it
have
didn't
to
play
say.
in my
Late
house,
80s.
so I'm just trying to figure out when this played.
Yeah.
80s had a lot of it.
This was bad, though.
That's bad.
That's bad. Yeah. Okay, Rick Astley. I think we could maybe lock up anything he did because it's kind of the same song, isn't it?
Might get a lifetime membership.
Let me see. This is Joy? Or Jay. All right, hi, Jay. Your nominee for Bad Song Prison.
Hey, Mitch. First off, I got to give you mad props on the sports reporters on Saturday afternoons.
It's Sunday morning, so that's okay.
Oh, it's Sunday morning.
Need
My
to sleep
bad.
in a little longer. That's all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the mad props, though.
Did you write Joy to the World?
No, I want Who Let the Dogs Out. I can't stand that song. They play it anytime any team scores.
Yeah, that's gotten to the point.
It doesn't even matter what sport. It just sucks.
It's reached that oversaturation. It was cute maybe the first week, but it's like that song that they did in New Orleans, Who Dat? You know, remember for a while? For a while it was cute, and then every time they did it, it was Who Dat say they're gonna or Hammer. What was that one?
Can't Touch This.
Yeah, Can't Touch This. When that first came out, it was and then.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough with the nominees. We'll close nominations. We will allow the Grim Reaper to come into the room. I caution everyone in the room, including the band, to avert your eyes, as only Ken Brown can look the Grim Reaper in the eye without turning to stone. Don't ask me why.
Close your eyes.
Damn your eyes!
Thank you.
All right. What was it this week, Mr. Brown? What? Give you
it opened sooner, Larry.
special security envelope?
Together Forever by Rick Astley.
All right,
Together
there he
Forever.
goes. Come on down the steps, Mr. Astley. You're going to be locked away forever. Oh, no. There's no point in screaming now. It's far too late. Deep down into the bowels of the building, we take Mr. Astley to lock him up. Let's open up the door and see who he spends eternity with. That's one.
Oh, Gloria.
Another 80s song.
All right, get on in there, Rick. Move over. Get next to the dinosaur. And let's close the door on him once and for all, shall we? Sounds of silence. from your friends here at the Mitch Albom Show, where we live by a very simple motto.
You keep making them, we'll keep locking them up.
I always feel a surge of public good when we do that, don't you? Send people off into the weekend on a safer note. And safety is what counts. I want to thank Bob Costas for joining us today, B.B. Newirth for joining us as well, and Jonathan Alter from Newsweek Magazine. Next week on the program, amongst our guests, Stephen King will join us, Warren Zevon, Ben Vereen, Andre Dumas, and a whole lot more. We thank you for spending some time with us this week on the Mitch Albom Show.
Albom! Come on, Billy. You got it, Billy. Yes. Take your time. Take your time. Oh!
Doesn't Billy remind you of Grant at his age?
Mm-hmm.
He's got the height. He's gonna be over 6 foot.
Yeah. All net.
Told you, I told you. Billy, go. Yes!
Oh.
I think we should be considering an agent.
Oh, yeah. Agent? What Billy needs is a really good retirement plan.
TD Waterhouse provides the online tools to help you plan your retirement and real people you can actually talk to. How easy is this?
Entering a new world, June 1st. I didn't pass one road sign today, or meet one person who could point me in the right direction. I hope every day is like today.
Indoors or outdoors, you should see your best.
Right now at LensCrafters, complete pairs of prescription glasses or sunglasses are only $99 each. Why not get both? The $99 indoor-outdoor sale. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Congressman Dan Burton on the Mark Rich pardon, Stuart Taylor on Denise Rich's legal options, and the internet bubble. Has it burst? I'm Chris Matthews in San Francisco. Let's play hardball. More questions today about former President Clinton's pardon of fugitive financier Mark Rich. At yesterday's hearings of the Government Reform Committee, Rich's wife Denise refused to testify, invoking her Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. Her lawyer did admit she donated an enormous sum of money to Clinton's presidential library, in addition to the millions she gave the Democratic Party and the furniture she gave the First Family. Congress may now grant Denise Rich immunity and insist she tell her story. So far, email evidence suggests Rich's lawyers worked hard to round up political support for Mark Rich's pardon, but tried to keep their efforts secret. So, did money from overseas make it through Denise Rich into the Democratic Party's coffers? We'll ask Committee Chairman Dan Burton about his findings and where the investigation goes from here. Plus, we'll ask Congressman Christopher Shays of Connecticut and Jack Quinn attorney Joe DeGeneva if there's any excuse for this pardon. And we'll look at Denise Rich's legal options. What could she be hiding? And what could happen to her if she doesn't talk? And we're in San Francisco again today, the heart of the internet revolution, but has the Silicon Valley gold rush gone bust? We'll ask Red Herring's Tony Perkins and Business Week's Michael Mandel. First, at yesterday's hearing, Rich lawyer Jack Quinn offered this defense for his actions.
While you may disagree with the president's decision, I believe the facts establish that I represented my client's interest fairly, vigorously, and ethically. I carried out this representation, keeping both the Department of Justice and the White House informed.
And Eric Holder himself said he did not even give the case much attention.
Efforts to portray me as intimately involved or overly interested in this matter are simply at odds with the facts. In truth, because the Mark Rich case did not stand out as one that was particularly meritorious, and because there was a very large number of cases that crossed my desk that similarly fit into this category, I never devoted a great deal of time to this matter, and it does not now stick in my memory.
Well, earlier today, I spoke with Chairman Dan Burton of the Government Reform Committee and asked him what crimes Denise Rich could have committed that she didn't want to testify yesterday.
First of all, I understand she's a pretty nice lady, and I don't want to cast any aspersions on her unnecessarily, but if she was a conduit for illegal campaign contributions from Mark Rich, who is no longer a citizen of the United States, then I think that could be a problem for her. But we're not going to prejudge anything. What I want to do is have Miss Rich testify, and what we may do, and I think it's likely we will do this, is grant her, try to get her a grant of immunity so that she'll have to testify and answer questions for us.
Have you approached the Attorney General, Mr. Ashcroft, for such an immunity? Who do you have to go to get that immunity from the Justice Department?
We'll have to talk to Attorney General Ashcroft, and I intend to do that at the proper time. As yet, we have not made that overture, but we probably will.
Well, what's the alternative? If you don't get her immunity, she won't testify under the 5th. You won't be able to prove your case, will you? Or find out what happened, where that money came from. If it came from overseas, if it came from Mark Rich, and she's just a conduit, that raises the question of felony charges, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and you know, I don't want to start predicting what may or may not happen. What we want to do is get the facts out for the American people. This pardon was a terrible mistake, a travesty of justice in most people's minds, myself included, and I believe that we need to find out why the president did it. Now, Mrs. Rich, the former Mrs. Rich, was one of the main contributors to Bill Clinton and the Democrat National Party, and to Hillary Clinton. And she also, according to her attorney, made a huge contribution to the president's library. We want to find out when that contribution was made, whether it had any impact on the decision to pardon Mr. Rich, and whether or not Mark Rich was funneling that money into the U.S. through her.
But in terms of criminality, the real crime here, if there is one, wouldn't involve how the money was used to get the president to do something or win his good offices or his attention or access, whatever you want to call it. It would be the fact that any money came from a foreigner, in this case Mark Rich, into a U.S. political campaign. Isn't that where the crime would occur?
That would be one, but also I think if there was a large contribution to an entity of the former president's, Bill Clinton, just prior to the pardon being granted, I think that it may not cause any kind of a felony charge, but I think it would sure show the American people that there was more to this than meets the eye.
Does the law expose the president to the charge of accepting an illegal gratuity, even if the pardon is sacrosanct and cannot be withdrawn? Is there a possibility here that the president, Bill Clinton, broke the law?
If it could be proven that any president exchanged political favors of any kind, including a pardon, for financial benefit of any kind, then I think that you would have a law being broken, and that would be a felony. But I'm not saying that happened. I don't want to make any kind of conclusions, draw any conclusions until we have more facts.
Let me ask you about Jack Quinn's testimony yesterday. Were you satisfied with his testimony, the former president's former lawyer, who's now the lawyer for Mark Rich? Were you satisfied with the honesty of his testimony?
Well, you know, I'm not going to call Mr. Quinn a liar or anything like that. I think he was trying to serve his client well, Mr. Rich, and I'm sure he's going to be, you know, well compensated for that. But I do believe that he knew and everybody else knew that Mark Rich was a person who the FBI had wanted for 17 years. He had fled the country, one of the 10 most wanted people in the world, and that he had dealt with the enemy when we had embargoes on him, especially the Iranian crisis when we had all those hostages over there. So Mr. Rich should have come back and been held accountable and gone to trial. Now, if he was innocent, as he said and as Mr. Quinn said at the hearing, then why did he try to smuggle documents out of the country, and why wasn't he willing to come back for trial? He knew he was guilty, and he wanted an easy out.
Right. Morris Weinberg, the prosecutor, said it was an open and shut case. They had the goods. What did you make of Jack Quinn's statement on Meet the Press a couple of weeks ago, where he said that Mark Rich is a U.S. citizen carrying a U.S. passport? What did you make of that assertion on the air?
Well, I think that very, very quickly, Jack Quinn got a call from Mark Rich, I'm assuming that, because he recanted that statement very shortly after that. And obviously, Mark Rich would have been subject to probably a lot more income taxes and more charges if he were a U.S. citizen. One of the reasons he changed his citizenship was, I think, to dodge a lot of taxes that he might incur.
Well, let's get to the hot question here. If Mark Rich is the source of these monies that went through Denise Rich to the Democratic Party, he's the guilty culprit in terms of influencing U.S. elections by spending money on them. And if Jack Quinn didn't know he was a non-American, he is in fact a citizen of Israel and of Switzerland, how do you put all that together?
Well, what we have to do is look at bank records. We will be subpoenaing bank records of Denise Rich. We will be subpoenaing the records from the Clinton Library to find out who the major contributors were, to find out how much was given to him, possibly by Mrs. Rich. They said it was an enormous amount of money, when that money was given. And then we'll have to let the lawyers at the Justice Department and the people of this country draw their own conclusions.
Have you read the petition for the pardon, Mr. Chairman?
I have not read the petition
on page
for the pardon. It's a very voluminous document.
You don't have to be an eager reader to go through it, Mr. Chairman. Right on page 1 or 2, I recall very clearly citizenship, Mark Rich, Swiss, Israeli. No reference to American citizenship. That's why I find it hard to believe that Jack Quinn didn't know it. I find it hard to believe the president didn't notice it, if he even looked at all at the pardon petition. And I also I have to say I'm skeptical, because here we are asking, did a foreigner pay this money? Mark Rich, did he pay the money? Is he a foreigner? And if his lawyer didn't know he's a foreigner, why didn't he know it? And if he knew it, why didn't he tell the president? Why didn't he tell Tim Russert? What's all this weirdness about his citizenship?
Well, we asked a lot of those questions yesterday. Of course, it was a 9.5-hour hearing. But even more onerous, I think, is that the president never checked any of the CIA, the FBI, the National Security Agency,